I would like to welcome and congratulate you on the beginning of the forum, which is dedicated to the development of the domestic microelectronic industry. This is a strategic area for our country, which is of key importance for strengthening its technological sovereignty, developing a modern digital economy, and increasing the competitiveness of our products and services. It affects literally all aspects of people's lives, and this annual event has already become the main platform for dialogue between developers, manufacturers, integrators, and customers of the most advanced innovative solutions in the field of microelectronics. Today, I would like to welcome my colleagues from the People's Republic of China and Belarus separately. Together with them, we are implementing a number of mutually beneficial projects, both in the field of radioelectronic products and in a number of other priority areas. And, of course, we will continue to deepen such cooperation. We are open to expanding any international cooperation in many technological fields, and we invite friendly states to combine their research potential and production capabilities in order to effectively use each other's strengths and jointly promote large-scale practical initiatives in the interests of our citizens. Despite all the difficulties, the industry has recently made a huge step forward for the first time. This is partly due to external restrictions and sanctions. They have pushed domestic enterprises to rely mainly on internal resources and, which is also very important, to accelerate the development of their own competencies and solutions. This led to a more than twofold increase in production over the previous 5-year period to 3.4 trillion rubles. And this year, we expect it to exceed the 3.5 trillion mark, and such dynamics, of course, must be progressively increased. To do this, the government helps companies to conduct promising scientific research, modernize production facilities, and open new factory sites. Over the past 3 years, over 300 billion rubles have been invested in electronics. This year, more than 100 billion rubles have been allocated. For the next 3 years, the draft federal budget, which we will submit to the deputies of the State Duma in the coming days, provides over 250 billion rubles for these purposes. Private investment is also becoming a serious factor in development today, thanks to earlier decisions on preferences and benefits. The financial situation of a large number of enterprises has become quite stable. They are now ready to invest independently in the development of equipment and capacity expansion. This is the best confirmation of the effectiveness of government support measures. The product portfolio of our solutions has increased significantly. As of the beginning of September, we have about 36,000 different positions included in the relevant register. Will we make a comparison? Do your colleagues remember how many of them there were in 2020? About 2,500. Such a growth over the past 10 years. Almost 170 billion rubles have been allocated from the federal budget for the development of new types of products. These funds have enabled the launch of more than 500 projects for the creation of critical electronic components, software and hardware systems. These include high-precision positioning modules for robotic complexes, unmanned aerial vehicles, telecommunication equipment for high-speed internet access, satellite communication stations, telematics modules for automated control, and much more. We have just visited the expositions and have already familiarized ourselves with a number of such solutions on the domestic basis. The level of inventions presented here is very high. For example, today we saw a prototype of a unique neuromorphic processor. It is a super powerful computing system that simulates the work of brain neurons. It has promising prospects for applications for artificial intelligence devices, autonomous vehicles, medical devices, as well as in a number of devices, in robotic complexes, and in other areas that are closely related to people's lives. At the same time, dependence on foreign technologies remains, to be honest. We have a rather difficult path ahead of us towards gaining full sovereignty in microelectronics. But if we follow the leading countries all the time and repeat their steps, then we are unlikely to be able to catch up with them quickly. Significant achievements require extraordinary measures, ideas, and solutions that would be able to help, as they say, cut corners wherever possible. Today it was told about promising ideas and developments that are being conducted by our scientists and technologists. Here, the role of teams of scientists and developers comes first, which are supported by a large ecosystem of development institutions, such as the Russian Science Foundation, Foundations for Advanced Research and Innovation Assistance, Skolkovo, and the Agency for Technological Development. The total amount of funds they have allocated to breakthrough projects is estimated at 10 billion rubles. It is important to improve the efficiency of this work, to increase its coordination with the Russian Academy of Sciences. Here, of course, I would like to mention the role of Gennady Yakovlevich Krasnikov, who, being a world scientist in the field of microelectronics, is actively developing this interaction. We are implementing comprehensive cooperation between representatives of business, science, and the state through national technological leadership projects, which we launched on behalf of the President. The programs of the Industrial Development Fund and the Cluster Investment Platform remain one of the main tools for helping enterprises. Thanks to them, the industry has managed to attract about 40 billion rubles in 5 years in the form of private investments and preferential loans. These funds were used to build high-tech production facilities in a number of regions. These are, for example, Tver, Kazan, Dublin near Moscow, and now initiatives worth about 60 billion rubles are being implemented in the Moscow region, St. Petersburg, and the Voronezh region. There are sites where printed circuit boards, power devices, and many other elements will be manufactured. To make it easier for entrepreneurs to bring their electronics products to the market, we use additional mechanisms. One of them is the allocation of financing to compensate producers for losses when product prices decrease. Probably, today every second person spoke about the need to stimulate pricing and the acquisition of new developed elements in the face of very serious competition in the world. With the massive switch to our own chips in bank and transport cards, this measure enabled our Micron plant in Zelenograd to launch the production of multi-million-dollar copies of microchips in a short time. Such system-building projects should receive government support. We pay special attention to increasing the localization level of electronic equipment to organize the production of a wide range of components. We are taking all possible steps to create flexible production lines with a high degree of automation. In order to launch them, over the past few years, the government has initiated the development of more than 50 types of devices, over 150 types of materials and chemicals, as well as about 20 modules of computer-aided design tools. Since the last forum, 2 new types of photomask machines have entered the market, as well as the installation of projection lithography for the production of integrated circuits with a topology of 350 nanometers. Starting next year, it is planned to start their serial production with subsequent delivery to existing factories. Literally in the coming months, we expect 6 more different installations to be ready, including clusters of plasma chemical deposition and etching. It is very important to increase the pace of this work. A Russian factory with our equipment and Russian technology is a long-term goal that we must strive for together. Moreover, we have already developed very serious competencies in the development and design of microcircuits, including at the topology level of 28 nanometers and below. Today we were just talking with the developers, with the design centers, who are already actively mastering everything. And first of all, I must say that we have mastered the technologies of complex products in the field of cryptography and information security, industrial controllers, RAM, solutions for the circulation and storage of electronic documents. In general, the domestic complex in the field of microelectronics now has about 18 production lines. Moreover, 12 of them have undergone deep modernization in recent years. Projects to create 7 more production lines are also in the active stage. Due to their implementation, we expect to increase the total capacity by more than 8 times by 2030. It is important, of course, not only to launch modern production of equipment and components, but also to ensure the sustainability of their work in a difficult economic situation and unprecedented sanctions pressure. To increase predictability for companies and investors, we started using the forward contract mechanism, which led to the development of several models of fully Russian-based stations for telecom operators. And now industrial production lines are being developed. It is necessary to use the so-called offset contracts more actively, under which it will be much easier to open a new plant in the regions. The local authorities here must ensure that they will buy his products within a few years. This type of partnership is very beneficial for both the state and business. And, of course, a significant priority on the development agenda is related to solving the personnel issue. In the next 3 years, microelectronics enterprises will need about 3,000 people, and probably more. These are the most conservative estimates, taking into account the sectors of the radioelectronic industry. There are already over 20,000, a third of whom have higher education. The industry also requires broad-based employees with unique competencies, including designers and operators of technological equipment, developers of computer-aided design systems, process engineers, chemists, and physicists. In order to attract talented young people, specialized advanced engineering schools have been launched over the past few years on behalf of the President. Laboratories and educational design centers have been opened. Without a doubt, this work should be strengthened and continued. Dear friends, our country will soon celebrate a professional holiday, Electronic Industry Workers' Day, which, as you know, was established last year on the initiative of the President in recognition of the growing role of the industry that works for our people and businesses. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. Please accept my words of gratitude for your responsible work, which is very important for the country. I am absolutely sure that the ideas and suggestions, discussions that will be held here, will help us to meet many current challenges together, and, of course, they will contribute to the active formation of a competitive image of domestic microelectronics, strengthening the industrial and technological sovereignty of the country. I would like to wish you success and constructive discussions and work. Thanks for your attention.